Hello and welcome to the 47th episode of The Real List, a podcast about our real list. I'm your host, Ellis.
And I'm your host, Gloria.
And today we have a selection from me that I have waited so long to watch, but forgot to put it on the list. It's another one of those, which we've done movies off the bottom of the list.
You thought it was on the list, too.
I really thought it was on the list. And you know what? I think I know why it wasn't. Because this is one of the movies that I was so afraid to ask you if you had seen, because I figured the answer would be, duh, of course I've seen that, who hasn't? But no, you had not seen this movie, My Cousin Vinny, 1992 comedy with Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei in the starring roles, Ralph Macchio, Michelle Whitfield, Fred Gwynne, who was the judge who, what was Fred Gwynne in?
He was in Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
He was also in the Monsters.
Yeah, that was him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's
the
been
the picture of him is him being so young he doesn't look like doesn't look like Judge whatever his name is.
He passed away in 93.
Yeah, he passed. This was, I think, one of the last movies that he did, if not the last movie that he did. Yeah, Judge Chamberlain Haller. Let me just continue with the list here. I mean, directed by Jonathan Lynn, written by Dale Launer, produced by Dale Launer and Paul Schiff, and it is 119 minutes long. Why are you clicking on Joe Pesci?
This picture, the Wikipedia picture of Joe Pesci, he looks miserable.
Yeah, it's rough. Some people get some wonderful pictures in their Wikipedia pages. Some people do not. Mostly the ones that have just been updated with time. You know, when Joe Pesci dies, he's going to get like him at his most handsome.
Yeah.
In as his picture. Now it's him now, which is rough. I'm not sure I realized he was still alive, actually.
Yeah, you were like, is he still alive? And I was like, yes.
Well, because George Carlin had a bit about Joe Pesci, and he described him like he was dead. And George Carlin's been dead for a while, so I thought, wow, Joe Pesci's been gone. But yeah, this came out in 92, and this is probably like number 3 on my favorite movies list. It's Up, and then Grand Budapest Hotel, and then this. It is so goddamn funny, and something that I was holding back on telling you, and I'm not sure if I spilled the beans. This is one of the most accurate films when it comes to courtroom procedure that has ever been made.
Really?
Yes. Fiction films anyway. You know, obviously with non-fiction thing about courtroom proceedings is going to be more realistic, but for the most part, this checks all the boxes. Like, they show this in law school. I've watched some lawyers pick it apart and talk about how accurate everything is. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason I love it, and I feel like it's part of the reason it's so good, because it's just wackiness juxtaposed with a very serious plot and setting. You know, there are 2 kids that are gonna get electrocuted for murder if Joe Pesci doesn't get his act together. Vincent Gambini, Vinny Bag of Donuts, doesn't get his act together and save the 2 youths. And I really want to know your thoughts on this, because unlike Airplane, I could tell this one was landing a little bit more, no pun intended.
I liked this movie because it kind of reminded me of a more grittier version of Legally Blonde.
Yeah, you said, oh, it's like Legally Blonde. And I went, oh man, I want to see Legally Blonde then.
Is it on the list?
I don't think so.
But yeah, it's more like, it's because like, I like the scenes where he's trying to go to sleep, and then there's like it was the sawmill at 5 in the morning,
yep.
At 5:30,
the slaughterhouse.
Then they went to a different hotel, and then there was a slaughterhouse that was up at like 5, and then there was also the train that went the freight train that went by
at 5 in the morning.
At 5 in the morning, and it just wasn't looking good for him. I think he was getting delirious from not sleeping as well.
Oh yeah, he says, I haven't slept in a week or whatever, and then they go to the cabin in the woods and there's like the screeching owl, which is one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
He runs out there in no pants, his leather jacket, and a gun. and just starts shooting into the
He
wilderness.
blasts 6 shots off into the woods, nowhere near the owl, because he doesn't know what it is, and then they go sleep in the car. Which then leads to him getting the velvet suit, or the velour suit, or whatever it is.
Because he throws his dry-cleaned tux in mud.
Man, you gotta say how much Mona Lisa Vito stands by her man in this movie. Like, despite everything they go through, and all the crap they sling at each other, which, they're arguing is flirting. But, all the genuine...
I never thought could see an argument be so sexualized.
Sexually charged when they're talking about the faucet.
Like, yeah. Or, like, when they were talking about anything else, like, they were just, like, so, like, you could tell that they're in love because of the way they talk to each other.
Well, and I think it's amazing that is just the way it is, without question. And that even when she's, like, really upset with him, after she storms out of the restaurant, she's making that phone... When he pulls her away from the phone, she was calling the clerk's office to get his butt saved. And then she comes in, permission to treat Miss Vito as a hostile witness. Oh, you think I'm hostile now? Just wait until we get home.
And just her knowledge of cars. Like, that end scene was phenomenal. Just her blowing the courtroom away.
Does the defendant's case hold water? No. Why does it not hold water? Just wait, you're gonna love this.
Just wait.
I could rewatch that scene over and over again, and it's sort of like the chess scene in Sherlock Holmes. Something I've looked up on YouTube just to watch that 5 minutes, because
that chess scene was an anxiety attack.
I love that scene. That scene is the reason I got back into chess. Us watching that movie.
Oh, Dylan's watched the new Knives Out movie. I know we're not getting off topic, but Dylan watched the new Knives Out movie, and they said it was really good, better than the first one.
Oh God, that's a high. We're gonna have to add another star to the rating chart. I think we both gave it a 5. That's the thing. Man, if it's better than the first. Okay. Also, hold on. When I go off on random tangents, even None Pizza Left Beef was tied back to the original premise. Thank you for the random aside that only has to do with movies. What did you think of Fred Gwynn as Judge Chamberlain Haller?
I loved it because he just has that southern, like, that he just looks like a southern man, like, without even trying. Like, he looks just like he belongs in this movie. He looks like he should be the judge in every courtroom.
Right.
Like, the way he talked to Joe Pesci's character, I was like, oh, he's in trouble.
Yeah. The next words out of your mouth better be guilty or not guilty. I don't even want to hear you clear your throat. And Joe Pesci's like, I think I understand. And he puts him in contempt of court and throws him in jail.
Multiple times.
Yep. Yeah, he goes to jail, what, 3, 4 times?
3 times. And one time he spends the night and he gets the best night's sleep ever.
Yeah, he can sleep through all the chaos and shouting and alarms going off because it's just like home in Brooklyn. Or wherever. They do something at the beginning of the movie twice.
What?
Which is the subversion of expectations, which is, I guess you could call it dramatic irony, where we, the audience, know something that the characters do not. And they really stretch those scenes out to the point where it was almost too much, but I really think they did a good job of making them, if they had gone on any longer, it would have been too much. But the scene where the youths are getting interrogated, right? And they don't know they're being put up for murder, but we do as the audience. And then the following scene when they're in jail and Vinny comes and Stan thinks Vinny's there to
rape
have
him.
his way with him, yeah. Which is just written so well. It's amazing wordplay that everything that comes out of his mouth is a double entendre.
It was... That's a good scene. Those two scenes were good.
Also,
Also, I thought that everybody was just trying to set the kids up. I thought that they were trying to set up Bill and they were trying to set up Stan. I thought they were trying to set them up and like they were like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna go away for murder. Like we know you didn't do it, but like we're still gonna fry you."
at what point did you turn the table on that and realize that, oh, they're serious?
Wait, what?
At what point did you realize that it was not a big conspiracy and they did not think they were innocent?
When they started when Vinny Gambini started actually giving out facts and doing his work and stuff like that. I was like, they're gonna figure this out, right? They're not gonna fry these poor boys.
You killed a good old boy. Yeah, no, it's kind of interesting because aside from Stan throwing that out as a hypothesis, I don't think I've talked to anyone else who genuinely thinks it's a conspiracy. They just sort of get that it's a misunderstanding from the very beginning. It's interesting that you came away with that take for part of it. I think that's a sort of unique perspective. You're in the same boat as Stan, I suppose.
Yeah, because I don't know. It felt a little. It felt a little planned, if I'm being honest. Like it felt like, what's the coincidence of this happening? And these two boys are just.
I mean, it is quite a coincidence. If there weren't a coincidence, we wouldn't have a movie, right?
I mean, yes, but
if they were driving a different color car,
yeah,
which the interesting thing that you picked out again that I've never seen anyone else make a note of is that they had the top down, and you couldn't. I feel like I agree with you here that you did not know that top was white, so that's a giveaway that it wasn't them anyway. Like it wasn't like.
It also didn't help that in the courtroom they had black and white photos.
Well,
I mean, I get it. It's an older movie, but like at the same time, colored photos were still a thing.
Yeah, well, they got them printed on the cheap. The
I was like, how
the only
can you
color
tell?
photos in that movie were taken by Mona Lisa's Polaroid camera.
Yeah.
That's really funny, actually.
How come the courts don't have colored photos? How can you tell that that's a car that's a mint green? Like, was I the only one that was thinking that? Like, you're just going by based on what the lawyer is telling you.
Well, okay, but you kind of have to go off of that. I mean, it's all eyewitness testimony, and that's what undoes the case. The only piece of hard evidence is the end bit with Ms. Vito tearing apart what car it could be.
What are you doing?
I was just checking on the 9 pings I had.
I mean, yes. But, I mean, was the Pontiac a convertible?
Yes.
Okay.
They basically, they were very similar cars. I mean, Mona Lisa lists off all of the, like, identical wheelbase, width, curb weight. I don't think she states that they are convertibles, but I think it's...
Well, the car that the boys were driving...
to believe.
The car that the boys were driving in the beginning was obviously a convertible because the top was down.
Right. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to believe that the Pontiac was a convertible. Otherwise it wouldn't make a ton of sense. So, I don't know enough about 1963 Pontiacs to make an assertion here. What about the BS question, as it were?
Oh, what, the trick question?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's trying to trick her. She's gonna pick this apart because she's a mechanic's daughter. She comes from a family of mechanics. Her mother's father was a mechanic, and her father's father was a mechanic, and her father's a mechanic, and her brothers are mechanics. I was like, she's gonna know this answer. She's gonna know it's a trick question. Because I was like, if she's comes from a family of mechanics, why wouldn't she know this question? I mean, why wouldn't she know it's a trick question. You know what I mean?
I I think that was generally a lack of knowledge on his part, and he was just throwing out a make, a model, a type of engine, a type of carburetor setup, just to give a random thing. I don't think he necessarily knew the answer, but he wanted to know if she could confidently state an answer. But you might be right. He might be tripping her up on purpose, but his reaction seems to indicate he's genuinely, like, flabbergasted by
her answer.
Yeah, by not just that she could answer it in the way she did, but that he was wrong. Maybe I'm reading too far into it, but I'm tending to think that people are. It's funny our different perspectives here. I'm tending to think that people are doing the best they can, being honest and just working with the wrong information, and you're leaning more towards the conspiratorial side of it, which is very entertaining. Also, I just turned into the public defender there for a second, which the public defender is maybe a little bit over the top with how he's just struggling with every word.
I don't know if it was because he was nervous or if he had a stutter. I don't know what that was, but that was something else. Excuse me.
Yeah, he has a severe stutter.
He was just stumbling over his words, and he looked like he was going to faint at one point. He looked ill. He looked very ill at one point, and I was like, oh man, this man's gonna go down. He's
gonna go down.
He's gonna fall. He's going to hurt himself.
He's just gonna pass out. Yeah, and he gets back to the bench, and Stan's just like, what's that? He's like, I get nervous sometimes. I'm getting better though.
How about the lady with the glasses with the thickness?
Oh my god. Yeah. Let the record show the the defense is holding up 2 fingers. Really, Judge? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And then how about the lady in the jury? She was like, shouldn't the parents be here? And then he was like, so he said the lawyer said something, and she was like, fry him.
Yeah. She'll do. She was funny. The looks that you got from the black members of the jury when the prosecution was like, like our ancestors, our good English ancestors or whatever. Because you even gave me a look. You don't remember that? Right in the opening statements, right in the prosecution's opening statements, he makes a comment about our good English ancestors or something like that.
Okay.
And they give a shot of the jury, which is a mixed race jury, and half the people are just like, the heck? What did he just say?
What are you talking about? Yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
It was so funny. This movie is so funny and so well put together, and it all works. And I mentioned it to my coworker who I was doing train counts with yesterday, and she and her boyfriend then watched it last night. And she messaged me this morning when I got on the computer, and she was like, I watched it last night, it's so funny, it's so good. And I was just like, I can't believe that you just went with that on a whim.
Hey.
And, yeah, there are plenty of movies that we've said, go watch this movie if you haven't. This movie, even if you have, go watch it again. Go watch it again, it's good.
This is a good film. I enjoyed it very much. Do you have any questions? Any more questions to ask me?
Any more questions to ask you? I don't know. Well, there's the B plot that I like, or maybe it's more like the C plot, which is the guy with the $200.
Oh,
which is how about
that? Those few bits were just. I was like, is he ever gonna get the money? Mm-hmm. And then they show the scene of Joe Pesci just jumping up and punching him in the face.
Yeah, just wham!
And taking the money, and the guy in the neck brace is just
watching.
I can't do anything.
What happened? Car accident, or did you fall? Did you get rear-ended? No, I fell. Damn. Did you fall in your own place or somebody else's? My own. Oh, man. He keeps trying to get this personal injury case out of the guy with the neck brace, which is very funny. When they had the shots of the sawmill, I was just like, hey, we've been there. Because, of course, that's the only thing I can think of. And it is kind of funny that this is timed with our, not too far from our trip to the same vicinity. I mean, this is Alabama. But we went to the South generally. I said the only thing it was missing was a big sign on the highway that said, "Are you ready to meet God?"
Yeah.
Because there was one of those in Arkansas. And I don't know. I can't. I can't praise this movie enough for the way it's put together, just from a storyline and acting perspective,
I also like the line. I like the conversation between Joe Pesci's character and Miss Vito. She was like, "You said after you won your first big case, we were gonna get married," and he was like, "I'm working on it."
Yeah. Is there anything else we can pile out of the outcome of this case? The line, "My biological clock is ticking like this," has been part of my family's vernacular for as long as I can remember. If you quote this movie around either of my parents, but I'm pretty sure my mom will lean into it more, it'll crack them up. Yeah. And also, look at this. Ben Stiller and Will Smith were considered for the role of Bill and Stan.
Really?
Yeah. But there was concern related to the incarceration of a Jewish and black person in the South.
Ralph Macchio.
Yep. And Michael Whitfield. He doesn't even have a picture on his Wikipedia page, poor guy. Hold on. Other considerations including Danny DeVito, Peter Falk, Robert De Niro, and Jim Belushi. Imagine if we had these two movies with Robert De Niro, not back to back. Yeah, it was back to back because the last one was Bronx Tale, right?
Bronx Tale.
Bronx Tale.
No, was it?
What was the last movie?
Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. Duh. It was Bronx Tale was 3 movies ago. Damn, time flies. Marissa Tomei won Best supporting actress, which is totally deserved.
Mm-hmm.
She kills it in this movie. This is definitely the movie where I developed an affinity for Marissa Tomei. And the amazing thing is, if you've seen the recent Spider-Man movies, she's still hot.
That's right. She's Aunt May.
Yeah,
that's right. Oh my god.
That blows my mind.
No wonder she looked so familiar.
Oh, you didn't realize?
No, she looked so familiar.
We need I don't know if, Aunt May in the new Spider-Man movies does drive a Volvo 240, so you know that she's still got the car savviness, I suppose.
Marissa Tomei really won a lot of awards for this movie.
Oh yeah, she killed it.
Joe Pesci only won 1.
Also deserved, though.
Yes.
Funniest actor. Yeah, his delivery of stuff is fantastic. And their introductions when they arrive at the town and she's taking pictures of everything.
I wonder if they have good Chinese food.
Oh my god. Keep talking about Chinese food. Yeah, this is honestly, this is a movie. I like how there's a transcript of the trial proceedings. I wonder if they actually had someone doing stenography in their fake courtroom. Have you ever seen a stenography machine? Like a stenograph?
No.
It is weird. I recommend you know what, hold on, let me show you. We'll make this aside. People who are watching the podcast, Google stenograph. Stenograph. Because this is the keyboard they use to record courtroom proceedings. I kid you not. It's like a 12-piece keyboard or 24-piece keyboard. It does not have every letter, and you press combinations of buttons at the same time to make letters. It is, and this half of the keyboard does the beginning of words, and this half does the end of words. It's really, really weird. found out about it, and I ended up looking up a bunch of videos on how they work. I spent, a day going down a rabbit hole of stenography because I just found it so interesting and so weird because they have to type as fast as someone is talking. So a regular keyboard, or even a weird arrangement keyboard like a Dvorak or anything that are supposed to help you type faster, you don't go fast enough. The stenograph is set up so that you can easily type very common words with like 1 or 2 keystrokes so that you can keep up with speech. It's incredibly, incredibly cool.
It looks scary to me.
It looks, yeah. It's something that's why you have to go to school to be a stenographer. You can't just walk into a courtroom and be like, yeah, I type pretty fast. I'll do it. So.
I could not.
Hmm.
When did this movie come out?
92.
Okay.
Yeah. Part of why this film has such staying power among lawyers is because, unlike, say, A Few Good Men, everything that happens in the movie could happen and often does happen at a trial. Quote, entertaining and extremely helpful introduction to the art of presenting experimental or expert witness at trial for both beginning experts and litigators. So, basically, Marissa Tomei on the stand is just, like, bang on what you want to go for. Obviously without the, like, flirting and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, do you two know each other?
She's my fiance.
Although, Vinny's handling of the witnesses is also, very entertaining. Especially
Yes.
the guy with the grits. Are you sure about that 5 minutes? And the,
I love how he was like, we're Gambinis, we just argue until...
yeah. Yeah, the description of him picking apart the magician set that what's his name gives Stan.
Bill.
That Bill gives Stan. Yeah, it's fantastic. And the other like C plot or D plot is Vinny giving the judge the runaround on who he is for the entire length of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good. It's so, like, I'm giving this 5 stars without a doubt.
I
like,
am
easily.
Also 65. We're not.
Yeah, I wrote a 6. I told you we're adding another star.
Yes, this is getting 5 stars as well.
Mm-hmm. This is one of these that I love to sit down and show people because I know that it's going to, like, it's gripping. It's not just fun. It's not like Airplane, where you can forget about the main plot and just be there for the jokes, and if the jokes aren't landing, yeah, there'll be another one in 30 seconds, but like you had, it didn't really help your enjoyment of the film. But this, it's just so well put together. I don't know how you could not have a good time watching this movie. Unless you know someone who was wrongfully electrocuted for killing someone in Alabama. In that case, it might hit a little close to home. But don't worry, on the other side of that door is Tom Hanks, and you're going to be okay. Just gave me a look. Corey just gave me a look.
Yeah.
Is the next episode going to be Die Hard?
Yes, because
Yes.
we are going to start our Christmas.
We're running up to Christmas here. It's going to be Die Hard, and then it's going to be...
The Polar Express.
No, not the Polar Express. Save that to after Christmas. Before Christmas, that's going to be... Hold on, 2 weeks from now.
Christmas party.
We're going to have to not watch that during the party, because we did that like 2 years ago and you fell asleep. Among other people. 3 years ago. 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
We watched It's a Wonderful Life, which is a mandatory Christmas movie that Gloria has never seen all the way through because of drunkenness and exhaustion. And then for our 50th episode, we're going to do Hamilton. So that's going to be a longer episode. It's going to be I was thinking, I am throwing around the idea in my head of doing it live, or at least doing it with a camera.
I thought that's what the plan was. We were going to do it with the camera.
Okay, then yeah, we may likely be doing that. And I'm very excited, because it means we get to watch Hamilton again. And then after that, who knows? I mean, it's going to be my go again. Maybe it will be the Polar Express. That's the way things happen. Well, we need a New Year's movie. Is Ghostbusters 2 is a New Year's movie?
Is it?
Yeah. It's the rare New Year's movie instead of a Christmas movie. Anyway, if you liked this, consider giving it a like and subscribing if you want more. We do a movie every week ish. We usually take 2 weeks off a year, but we wasted our 2 very early. So, and by usually I mean we did it once. In the 1 year, because it's going to be 1 year, 52 weeks since we started the show on the episode we do Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
Because we skipped 2. We skipped 2 weeks in there because we were super busy at some point.
Okay.
So we do 50 episodes a year. Yeah, if you've seen this movie, if you have thoughts about it, feel free to leave a comment. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch this freaking movie. It's so good. Even if you know what happens, I was cracking up.
Yeah, you were literally just like grabbing at your side laughing.
Because it's funny.
I mean, it was funny.
Listen, when I get into it, when I want to be entertained, I can get pretty entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Die hard, die hard.